There's a fascinating Medrash in Vayikra Raba, Perek Tes, Halacha Gimel, or Section Gimel. The Medrash says that there was a big Talmud Chacham by the name of Yanai, and he was very particular about honoring Talmud Chachamim. He used to even go out and search to find Talmud Chachamim, and when he finally found a Talmud Chacham, he would shower on him many kibudim. So the Medrash says that he once was walking on the road and he saw a Jew, and the Jew was wearing honorable clothing and so on and so forth. So he assumed that he was a prestigious Talmud Chacham, and he brought him into his house, and he started talking with him, and he gave him a whole meal, and he honored him. And he saw that he was not versed he was not versed in Torah. He tried Talmud, he tried Agadita, he tried Mishna, he tried Mikra, he tried Tanakh, nothing. He didn't know anything. And he even attempted to ask him to even lead the benching or at the bench, and he didn't even know how to make a bracha. So the Yanai got very upset. And he said, "You took all this food from me and all this honor. Do I owe you something? Do you have by me a Yerusha?" he says. And he referred to him as a kelev, as a dog. And he said very sharp things against him. And the guest apparently was not taken aback. He was a humble man. And he said, he replied that there is one, it sounded as if he's saying this a little bit sarcastically, but he said, "I was once walking by a Beis Medrash, and there's one pasuk that I did hear. There's one pasuk that I do know." What's that pasuk? Quoted in the pasuk, he says he heard the children learning. He said, "Torah tziva lanu Moshe Medrash." And he says, as far as I'm concerned, the pasuk does not conclude Gehilas Yanai. The pasuk says that Torah is a Yerusha for all the Jewish people. The pasuk doesn't say that the Torah is just for Yanai. That was his first comment. But Yanai responded, and he says, and apparently that comment was like, "Okay, so teach me some Torah, educate me, don't leave me out in the cold like a kelev." And Yanai then says, "I see you apparently you have a lot of money, and you look like you're well taken care of. In what schus did you get this money?" So Yanai responded two things. First of all, I never answered back someone that rebuked me or made fun of me. And that would maybe explain his actions over here, that he was being screamed at and called a dog by Yanai, and he kind of just sat there and respectfully responded. I guess he did respond something, but he didn't get mad. And then he said, B, this seems to be an even greater accomplishment possibly. He says that I never saw a fight between two people which I didn't go over and make peace between the two people. So Yanai then, saw that we're dealing with a very special person over here, and then that was the end of that story. But then the Medrash goes on and makes its very world famous comment, and it says that there were 26 generations before Hashem gave the Yidden the Torah. Mikan, Derech Eretz, the Kodmot Derech Eretz is a Torah. Derech Eretz, the way of the land, so to speak, as it's, the beginning of the Torah just discusses kind of stories and so on and so forth. The Torah wasn't actually given in a formal sense. Kodma Torah said, as a Torah, it says in the pasuk Derech Eretz Chaim. It says by other edition actually, referring to the Eitz Chaim, that there's a Derech Eretz Chaim. There's the Eitz Chaim, and then there's kind of the Derech to that. So what exactly does this mean? Derech Eretz Kodma Torah. This is quoted by all the Chachmei Musar and Chassidus and Machshava. There's a concept of Derech Eretz, to be respectful and honorable and Kodma Torah. Does that mean it's more important than the Torah? What exactly does that mean? So some wanna suggest that the Gemara in Shabbos, Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph 31a, where the person that wanted to convert, he came to Hillel and says, "Tell me the whole Torah," and he says the whole Torah is Madalecha Sani. What you don't want others to do to you, don't do to other people. Some suggest that seems to suggest that the whole Torah, the concept of the Torah, is all about Derech Eretz. So, if you read Rashi on the Gemara over there, at least according to one of the explanations, this is not the case. Rashi suggests that what does Hillel mean to say that respect your friend leads you to keeping the whole Torah? He has one explanation over there which is a little bit difficult to understand. But the explanation that Rashi brings, his second explanation, is that if you're able to treat your friend nicely, you can then build a relationship with Hashem. And once you build if you're a person that's able to build a relationship, you can then build a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you can keep the whole Torah. That's why Rashi explained this. According to that explanation, this Gemara would not support the notion to say that the whole Torah is about Derech Eretz, and Derech Eretz comes before the Torah. And, it's obviously a balance. And the Mishna in Avos Perek Gimel, clearly, Mishna Yud Zayin, Rebbe Eliezer ben Azariah says, Imein Torah in Derech Eretz. And then he says, Imein Derech Eretz and Torah. So as the Rambam and the Pirush HaMishnayos and the Tosfos Yontif talk out, that it's a balance. And it seems to be the more important, the first notion is that there's Torah, and then there's Derech Eretz. In other words, that's what's more important, but obviously there has to be the balance, as Rashi says. And this concept is driven home in very clear terms. Gemara Berochos Daf Lamed Gimel is a Mishna over there. Someone that says that Hashem gave the mitzvah to send away the mother bird before you take the children. He says that it's because Hashem's such a nice guy. It's nonsense, as the Gemara actually brings. There's two ways. The Gemara has two ways of understanding that. But it seems to be the main way of understanding is that because the mitzvahs are gzeiros of Hashem, it's not all about. It's not about Hashem being a nice guy. It's way beyond that. And the Rambam actually in his commentary in the Mishna Berochos over there in Daf Lamed Gimel, the Rambam says if it was all about just being nice, then Hashem shouldn't have given us shchita. He shouldn't have told us to slaughter animals. She'ilu hoy miderach harachmanus lo itziva lishchoit chayim oif klal aval hi mitzvah mikubelas ein latam. The mitzvahs are not about being nice. Imein Torah in Derech Eretz, imein Derech Eretz ein Torah. And it's a derech for Torah. True kodma Derech Eretz la Torah, but that kodma could be kodma bizman, as we say many times. That there's a Medrash that says that the word Kadma doesn't necessarily mean an importance. Kadma can mean a Kadma Bisman. And I'll just conclude with a very interesting Kuzri, in the second section of the Kuzri, Yehuda HaChassid is having a conversation with the king of Kuzar, and what he said to him, if you hear that chassid's going on and on about how the Torah is so awesome and so amazing, so the Kuzri said to him, if so, what's the reason why why are the Jewish people so small? If the Torah is so great, why are the Jewish people so small? So the Kuzri, so if you hear that,